Okay, so we got our chair seat taken off the chair, and the original problem with this seat was that it was broken, like all the way down. You can see the line where I've glued it back together. And so that split. What I discovered is that chairs tend to be made of 3 pieces, which I don't know if I really knew, but I guess I learned that now. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but you see on this side where you've got this line that's been glued back together. You can see a very faint line on this side, and that would be where the other piece was glued back together. Or actually, it wasn't glued back together, that's just how they made the chair. So anyway, what you want to do when you have a chair that's split that way, there was actually a tongue and groove that fit together, put this chair together, and so I just cleaned up the glue that had been on each side. I used a little bit of adhesive remover. Didn't really work that well. The glue is old. So I just used some sandpaper. What you want to make sure of when you're doing this is that you don't take the tongue out of that groove, right? You want to keep all your wood intact. At the top here, it had pulled a little wood off of each side. One was gouged out, the other wasn't. So anyway, sorry about the light. So just get it all cleaned up, and then I use this Titebond too. I've always had a good success with it. It doesn't dry too fast. It always holds really well. And so once I had the wood cleaned up, I just used 2 clamps. I usually, for the most part, use these kinds of clamps. They have a nice little thing on the end here that you can adjust. And then, of course, you can do the whole, large adjustments with your clamp ends. Again, if this is a piece of wood that you're going to hold on to for a long time, you might want to put some block spacers on the sides here, because in between the clamp and the wood, if you clamp too tight, you'll get marks in your wood, and so you want to be careful with that. Now, the other thing about clamping is that this wood is not completely it's not straight, right? Or not level, I guess. You can see that it's got a curve in it. So when you clamp it, you want to make sure that you don't get it so tight that you start getting a bow in it that would eventually, it would just cause the whole thing to move up, and then it would fall apart from behind. So you just kind of mess with the clamp a little bit. You'll have to clean up the glue as you go, and then let it sit, at least overnight, so that you can get the wood will be bonded well with the glue.